Hello, Unwritten here with a look at 5 sets LEGO Technic should release. That is, sets that have never been made yet, but LEGO Technic should release. This is a continuation of my previous video. Without any further ado, let's begin. At number 5, we have the legendary Toyota Corolla. First of all, just look at how beautiful it looks. The front is truly exceptional with those amazing headlights. The sharp angles will be quite interesting and challenging to recreate with LEGO Technic panels. The Corolla has many different variants. I'm specifically talking about the Corolla LE. This is seriously the best car I've ever seen. Look at how beautiful it looks from the back too. You might say, what color is your Bugatti? I say, what color is your Corolla? I'd want the Technic model to be white, and we haven't even scratched the surface of what's the coolest function of this model, the transmission. Specifically, it comes with a continuously variable transmission. LEGO Technic fans have recreated the CVT using 2 cones that face opposite directions and a rubber band in between them that slides along the cones. By sliding the rubber band, the transmission would change from the slowest to the fastest speed very smoothly, no intermediate steps. If we get a CVT in this LEGO Technic set, it would be the first time in the history of Technic that we're getting a continuously variable transmission in an official set. The Corolla uses a 4-cylinder inline engine, so of course we'd also get an engine in this set. Imagine the speed of those pistons as they're changing from the slowest to the fastest. It would be quite the sight to behold. I'd want the set to be around $150 in that same scale as this new Porsche Rexy set, except unlike the Rexy, it would have a cool transmission. If you're enjoying this video so far, and you would like to see more top 5 and top 10 videos, then make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. No pressure though, no pressure. Next up is basically asking the question, what if we took the legendary Corolla and made it fly? The Cessna 172 Skyhawk is also known as the Corolla of the skies. And I'd want absolutely 0 sacrifices in this set. First of all, let's look at the functions of a real Skyhawk. It's got a 2-blade propeller directly driven by a 4-cylinder horizontally opposed engine. We also have electronically operated flaps as well as some manually operated control surfaces. The pedals operate the rudder and the yoke is mechanically linked to the elevator and the ailerons. There is also a trim wheel which moves the trim tab on the elevator. Think of the trim tab as like a mini elevator on the main elevator. Its purpose is to alleviate control pressure. Anyway, I'd want every single function of the real Skyhawk to be transferred to the Technic model. I'd want appropriate control surfaces linked to a small yoke as well as the rudder linked to the small pedals, all moving exactly like in the real thing. Of course, I'd want the set to be motorized with a single motor and a gearbox, kind of like the Airbus H-175 rescue helicopter. There should be a multi-directional gearbox as well as a speed transmission gearbox. The multi-directional would control the flaps and the speed transmission would control the speed of the propeller at the front. We could have 2 modes, either idle or full power. The Skyhawk must be at least $500, more if necessary. 0 sacrifices can be made with this model. It has to be perfect, with the control surfaces all perfectly linked up and motorization functions. It seems expensive, but the new excavator was $430 and it had a single motor motorizing multiple different functions. Modern sets have to be expensive if they're gonna be good and motorized. That's just how inflation works. Honestly, maybe make it over $1,000. It has full RC capabilities. You can drive it around and control all its control surfaces, and as you move the control surfaces, the yoke moves appropriately, the rudder pedals move appropriately. It's very authentic. The Control Plus hub uses its internal accelerometers to tell you the attitude of the airplane, displayed to you on a phone on a screen that looks exactly like the G1000 PFD. Make it 10,000 and big and massive and awesome. Make it 1,000,000 words, life size, exactly the same size as the real Skyhawk, and I can sit in it and taxi around, similar to the life-size LEGO Bugatti. The point is, I absolutely love the Skyhawk. I have over 400 hours in it and I want 0 sacrifices. Whatever it takes to make the absolute best Skyhawk, do that. Here we have the Street Sweeper truck. These things are iconic, and you see them everywhere. I don't want this to be a winter wave type set, maybe winter 2027, and I want it fully remotely controlled with Control Plus. Say that 3 times fast. Anyway, one motor would steer, the other would drive, and the driving motor would also connect to the sweepers. It would be such a cool and fun playing experience. I truly miss these Winter Wave Control Plus models like the Top Gear rally car as well as the off-road buggy. Of course, the Street Sweeper truck would also have some sort of engine, perhaps a 6-cylinder inline, as that's a pretty common one. Lighter ones use a 4-cylinder inline, so that's possible in Technic, or if we want to go really crazy, we can do a V8. However, those are from older models and they're not really used anymore in modern Street Sweeper trucks. Next up is the Road Heat Tunnel Cutter. This thing looks absolutely insane, and I of course want it with Control Plus Full RC. We could have 4 motors, 2 for the tracks, 1 for rotating the drill, and 1 for raising and lowering it. And would probably be in that $500 price range, or if you want it cheaper, we could see a multi-directional gearbox, a single motor, and the motor controlling everything. There will be 4 gearbox functions. The first driving ring controls the left track, the second one controls the right track, third one controls the drill itself, and the fourth one controls raising and lowering of the drill. This is kind of similar to the 2015 crawler crane, except in the crawler crane we had one driving ring control both tracks, so it would only move forward and backward. However, in this one, we would see the 2 tracks connect to driving rings independently. So we could independently activate the left one and the right one, all simultaneously, make it turn and all that good stuff. If a turntable is necessary, with my proposal, you would have 2 independent motions pass through the center of a single turntable, kind of like in the 8043 motorized excavator. Basically, you have one central axle and you have a series of driving rings surrounding that axle for the second motion. I think that mechanism should absolutely be brought back, and it is absolutely incredible. Here we have the CAT AP1055 asphalt paver. This thing is truly incredible. Everything about it is optimized for laying smooth and consistent asphalt. It is used for everything you can think of, like multi-lane roads, highways, airport taxiways, airport runways, distribution centers, and so much more. Dump trucks unload asphalt into the hopper at the front. Material moves rearward and then it lays the mat. I'm thinking this could be a $600–700 set, and I want it fully remotely controlled with Control Plus. But unbrick me, what are the functions we need to motorized? Obviously, we have the 2 tracks, then we have the conveyor belts, twin augers, screed tilt, screed height adjustment, screed extension, as well as the hopper wings folding and unfolding. Besides the tracks, that is 5 functions we need to motorize. Either we need 2 hubs and 7 motors, or we can do this with just 1 hub and 4 motors, as well as a distribution gearbox. I'd prefer the 1 hub solution, since it would result in the model being cheaper, more mechanically advanced, since now we have to use a distribution gearbox, and none of these functions are particularly essential to move all simultaneously like they would be in an excavator. We can use a solution identical to the CAT D11 bulldozer. We use 2 motors to directly drive the tracks, 1 for the left, 1 for the right, no gearbox here. Then we use 1 motor to drive the gearbox and another motor to switch all the functions inside the gearbox. There will be a total of 4 functions in the gearbox, meaning one of the 5 functions would have to be manually operated. I'm thinking the folding and unfolding of the hoppers, since that's, in my opinion, the most boring function. If you want to see 10 more sets that should be released, then click on the video right over here on the left side of the screen. This is your Unbrick Me here, and I'll see you in the next one.